Okay, it's really late. I am knitting in the dark hole of my bedroom with my neck light on, but I want to take a second to respond to this comment. Hi, Ruby. I picked out this comment not like just because I know this person in real life and she's awesome, but because she spoke to something that Maxine Dexter and our Secretary of State, Tobias Reed, actually brought up in their joint telephone town hall tonight. This comment was left on a video where I was talking about what are the ways that we can engage in resistance work that are different than just protesting, right? What are all of the other ways that we can plug in and lend our skills and our labor and our resources to defending our communities against the regime and working to restore democracy? And Ruby said here, having these same convos as we prepare for a rapid response team training. How do people support our community in ways that feel right for them, are accessible to many different ways people can engage in resistance work? Yeah, I think these are really good conversations to be having, good and necessary conversations. But I actually want to focus in on the fact that you're talking about building rapid response teams. One of the questions that was asked from a constituent in Maxine's town hall tonight was, what can we do to help our neighbors be protected from ICE? The Congresswoman said the lawlessness of ICE and their enforcement actions is really concerning. Right, we just had an incident in Gresham where ICE broke into the home of an American citizen. ICE agents are not immune to prosecution for violating the rights of American citizens. And we are watching them over and over and over again brutalize Americans, violate our rights. But I think it is really important that we continue to remind ourselves and each other that whatever they're doing to American citizens, what they are doing to our immigrant neighbors is far, far worse. Maxine talked about the importance of getting a Know Your Rights training. And I'm a big fan of having red cards to hand out. I actually went through a box of 750 of them and I need to order a new box. You can get them in a whole bunch of different languages and hand them out and let people know what their rights are. For example, when ICE comes to your door and they have an administrative warrant and not a judicial warrant, you do not have to open the door. One of the things that I talked about in a video recently was the signs of solidarity training and how it is helping people go and talk with business owners about the ways that they can stand up for immigrants and in particular protect their immigrant employees and customers, making spaces in the business where ICE legally cannot go, right? Literally a broom closet or a back room where you put a sign on the door that says private employees only, not a public space. ICE can't go in there without a judicial warrant. So getting Know Your Rights training for us and then making sure that our immigrant neighbors know their rights as well. Right, and these are sort of things that we've known for a while now, but then the Congresswoman said something that I was really surprised to hear from her. I think we've all watched Congresswoman Dexter become more outspoken and courageous as the months have worn on. I understand as a freshman member of Congress that this is not what she anticipated she was going to be doing. And I'm sure it's been very overwhelming. And, really early on, I felt like she and not just her, you guys, every Democrat in Congress, with the exception of just a couple, were really timid. And we've watched progressive members of the House in particular, but also my Senator Jeff Merkley, who just did almost 23 hours on the floor today, got tons of press attention, loads of media coverage about the ways that he was standing on the floor speaking about Trump's authoritarian agenda and what a danger it poses to our nation. But we've watched as the months have gone on, Democratic elected officials get more and more assertive. And again, in particular, progressive members of the House have been willing to get rowdier, to get louder. They're really listening to their constituents. I think Maxine really, really listens to her constituents. Nonetheless, I was a little bit surprised to hear her talking about coordinating with representatives in the Chicago metro area, in particular about forming rapid response teams, which our Indivisible group has been talking about forming rapid response teams to help defend our immigrant neighbors for many months. But I was surprised to hear my Congresswoman say it. Basically, what ICE is doing is illegal, it's brutal, it's unjust. It's a violation of the rights of American citizens and of immigrants. And you can do a Know Your Rights training, you can carry a red card, but that's no guarantee. In fact, there's no assurance that ICE is going to protect your rights. They are hell-bent on obliterating your rights, on trampling all over them. And so she said, what we need to do now is stand courageously in between immigrants and ICE. She said we need to go into the places where these actions are happening. She brought up the whistle brigades, which I've been talking with a number of local activists about getting whistle brigades going in Portland. They're really on top of it in Chicago. That we need to focus on civil resistance against ICE, taping everything. We need to have trained rapid response teams that understand all of the different layers of what needs to be done to document what is happening, to help protect immigrants and to get justice for them, and for any of us when ICE violates our rights. I was really, really pleasantly surprised to hear her say that. And I know that a lot of people still think like, oh, the government should be doing this. The government should be protecting us. Where's Portland police defending us? Y'all, it's up to us. Do you remember way back at the beginning of this in January when I said that nobody is coming to save us? Elected officials are not coming to save us. We have to save ourselves. This is true here as well. This is our democracy. This is our country. It is up to civilians. It is up to citizens to defend the most vulnerable. It's up to citizens to protect those that are targeted by the regime. One of the key factors of resistance against tyranny is that you do not abandon those that are targeted by the regime. So I really want to commend folks who are working on organizing rapid response teams. And if you're in Oregon, I would like to point you to PIRC. That's the Portland Immigrant Rights Coalition. They offer trainings on how to become a legal observer, trainings on how to form a rapid response team. They have all kinds of support. They also have a hotline that you can call if you spot ICE in your neighborhood or if you are an immigrant or somebody assisting immigrants that are being targeted by ICE. I also just really want to encourage folks, whatever your local grassroots group is that you're involved with, your local Indivisible chapter, what have you, it's time to start forming these rapid response teams. Both rapid response teams to help defend immigrants, but I think also as we are looking at the potential very quickly here for people to be losing their SNAP benefits, we're looking at critical shortages at food banks. I think we also need really rapid response teams to deal with what is going to become an impending hunger crisis as well. But getting back here to focusing on organizations like PIRC and how we help immigrants, if you don't have PIRC's hotline number already saved in your contacts on your phone, do that now if you live in Oregon. I had a conversation with a local organizer this past weekend about folks in Portland reaching out and building relationships with the residents of Chicago because they're being targeted in the same way we are, and that we are not isolated. While our resistance is hyperlocal, the way that we have the most power and influence and ability to do the most good is right outside our back door, right in our own communities. We don't have to reinvent the wheel. We can learn from each other. Again, like folks in Chicago have their whistle brigades. We can and should be learning from each other, supporting each other, be in solidarity with each other, even halfway across the country. We have a shared experience. We are Americans fighting against a tyrannical, brutal regime together. What would that look like for Portland Indivisibles or Portland 5051 or whatever grassroots group you're with? What would it look like for us to connect with our brothers and sisters in Chicago so we can help support each other, share ideas and strategies, pool our resources, and be more effective at helping form rapid response teams, respond to the attacks from ICE, and defend immigrants where we are. And a big thank you to the folks who have been way ahead on this, who've been organizing these kind of teams for a while now. Thank you for being patient with those of us that are getting caught up. This is what resistance work actually looks like. No King's Day, really important, good for our morale, good for bringing people into the movement. Now we need to help them get plugged in, get training, and get to work, because there are immigrants being snatched every day. There are people going hungry every day. The East Wing of the White House is being torn down today. There's lots and lots that we need to be doing. So glad to see more people getting excited and interested because of No King's Day. And now we get to help them level up.